Should we bring up past issues in our relationship? Hey there, I'm Sharon Pope. I help women who are struggling in lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or be able to move forward without regret. If you like what you hear, I hope you'll subscribe.
People decide to get married, it means they've chosen each other to spend the rest of their life together. But then, several years into the marriage, what started out as two people being inseparable now becomes incompatible. My name is Sharon Pope. I am a master life coach and a 7-time best-selling author on love and relationships. I help women who are struggling in their lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or lovingly release it without regret. You can go to clarityformymarriage.com to explore if there's a fit for you and I to work together today.
So today I want to answer the question related to, should we bring up issues from the past, or should we just wait for them to resurface again before addressing a recurring issue inside of our relationships? Okay, so here's what I would argue is that if you're still thinking about it, that means you're still carrying it. If you're carrying it and it's an issue, there's a resentment there. So for sure, I think that if there's an old resentment, something that you've never really resolved between you and your spouse, I definitely think that you should bring it up. Then it becomes the timing associated with when to bring it up. So do you wait until it happens again and then you deal with it, which is what most of us do, right? But we probably tried to bring it up last time. There was let's say that when you argue, you don't argue well. Let's say that that he tries to shut you down or gets defensive, or maybe he shuts down, something like that. Like maybe there's just something that when you two disagree, you don't argue very well. And so maybe that's the old thing. Let's just use that as an example. You put in whatever your example is of an old issue that has never been resolved that you're probably still carrying some resentment around. Now, so the timing associated with that, the reason why most of us wait until it happens again is because when we get angry, we have more courage. We can take more action when we're angry. The problem is that we're angry, which means our emotions are high and our ability to rationally problem solve and think through something goes down. And our ability to listen and hear and want to understand our partner goes down because we're mad. So I for sure think that if there is an issue, like you don't bring up every single thing, right, that has ever happened. That's not necessary. But if there's something that's still bothering you, that's unresolved, that's from the past, don't wait for the next shoe to drop and then try to bring it up when emotions are high and people are super triggered. Instead, do it before that. Do it before it ever happens again, so that maybe it never happens again, or maybe it doesn't go the exact same way that it always has inside of your patterns. I would bring it up at a time when it is nowhere near a time where this particular issue has happened. Now you might think, well, gosh, that's not going to keep the peace, right? We avoid conflict in order to keep the peace. So when times are peaceful, we don't like to upset the apple cart. We don't like to bring up difficult topics, except that when times are peaceful is the time that we're most open to hearing our partner, when we're most open to understanding their perspective and talking through different solutions, when we're most rational in terms of, hey, when this happens, here's how that makes me feel, without the heavy emotion that comes along with when we're triggered. So I definitely think that you should bring it up. And I think you should bring it up just like if you were creating rules of engagement on how to argue better with your spouse, right? Like let's say every time you argue, he insults you, which is not okay, right? Obviously, when arguing gets personal and it's not about the issue and it becomes about you as a human being, that's not helpful. So, but trying to do that and tell your partner that they're wrong for insulting you in that moment, they're probably just going to defend their actions because they feel completely justified in that. But if you were going to create rules of engagement around arguing, you would do it at a time when you're not arguing, right? Because if you try to do it when you're arguing, you're just not going to get very far. And it's the same thing with this. Address the issue. If you're carrying a resentment about it, definitely address it because it's not going away. If it hasn't gone away yet, it's not going to magically go away in the future. I was working with a client recently where some of her resentments are more than 20 years old. And her husband is very confused by that because he's like, God, that was so long ago. You're still thinking about that? But because it's never been healed for her and she's never felt like she's gotten a complete apology for what had transpired 20 years ago, she's still carrying it. And I want you to care enough about yourself and how you feel that you just don't want to carry those resentments for years or decades. I want you to be able to address the issue. And I think it's wise to do it outside of the sensitive zone, outside of the danger zone of when we're not as rational as we could be. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you. And I would love for you to go download my free ebook, 3 Things Women Want Men to Know. Now, this book is for men and the women who love them. Obviously, I primarily serve women, and that gives me a unique insight into what women want and what they say. And oftentimes they'll say, Sharon, can't you just come say it to my husband? Can't you just tell him because you say it in a way that I can't say it? Well, that's what this book is. You go get it. It might even help you say something in a way that he can receive it differently. Okay. So you can get that book. It's absolutely free. You can go to 3thingstoKnow.com. That's the number 3, not don't spell it out, just the number 3thingstoKnow.com. And if you like what you heard and this was helpful to you, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, then at the end of this video, there's just a 1-click that you can do and you'll get a notification. All right. Until next time, take good care.